The smartest person in the room isn't the one who's never wrong. It's the one who admits it fastest. And that one idea can quietly change your entire life. Most of us treat being wrong like a wound, something to hide, deny, or argue our way out of. So instead of saying, "I was wrong," we say, "Well, technically." We defend the mistake instead of fixing it. And the longer we defend it, the more it costs us. This gets even harder in public, where everyone's watching. Online, changing your mind looks like losing an argument. So people dig in instead, doubling down just to save face. The algorithm doesn't reward, "I was wrong." It rewards certainty, which means the loudest voices are often the least willing to update. Don't confuse volume for confidence or stubbornness for conviction. This isn't a character flaw. It's wiring. Psychologists call it cognitive dissonance. When new facts clash with what we believe, it feels like pain. So the brain takes the easy way out. It rejects the fact, not the belief. That's how smart people end up defending dumb decisions. Not because they're foolish, because admitting error feels like losing. Think about the last argument you had that went nowhere. Neither person was really listening. Both were reloading. The goal quietly shifted from understand to win. And once winning is the goal, being right stops mattering. Being seen as right does. Refusing to be wrong has a price, even when you don't feel it. It freezes you in the version of yourself from 5 years ago. It makes you defend opinions you don't even believe anymore. It turns conversations into battles instead of exchanges. And worst of all, it cuts you off from your own growth. Here's the shift that changes everything. Being wrong isn't a verdict on who you are. It's just a data point that arrived a little late. Your beliefs are a map, not your identity. And maps are supposed to be redrawn when the terrain changes. Once you see it that way, being wrong stops being scary. True intelligence isn't having all the right answers. It's how fast you update when you get new information. Scientists don't get embarrassed when a theory gets disproven. They get excited. It means they're closer to the truth. This is exactly how the scientific method is built to work. Every field that actually progresses treats being wrong as part of the process, not the end of it. The best thinkers treat their own opinions like rough drafts. Always ready to revise, never precious about being right. There's a difference between being wrong and being careless. Careless is not checking, not thinking, not caring enough to look. Honestly wrong is doing your best with the information you had at the time. The goal isn't to lower your standards, it's to raise your flexibility. Do the work up front, then hold the conclusion loosely. There's a social cost too, one we rarely talk about. People don't trust someone who's never wrong. They trust someone who says, "You're right, I missed that." Admitting error isn't weakness. It's proof you're paying attention. It tells people, I care more about the truth than my ego. This is what makes leaders people actually want to follow. A boss who says, "I got that call wrong," earns more loyalty than one who never admits fault. There are warning signs that you're defending instead of thinking. You interrupt before the other person even finishes their sentence. You get louder instead of getting clearer. You start attacking the person instead of the point they made. You feel a flash of heat in your chest before you even know why. Notice those signs early, and you can catch yourself before you dig in. Here's what makes this urgent. Being wrong doesn't stay small. Every decision you make on top of a wrong belief inherits that error. It's the sunk cost trap. You keep investing to avoid admitting the first investment was a mistake. The longer you wait to correct course, the more expensive the correction becomes. Which means the bravest time to admit you're wrong is always right now. Picture a small team building a product nobody's buying. For months, they blamed the marketing, the timing, the users. Then one morning, someone finally says the sentence nobody wanted to say. Maybe the product itself is the problem. That single sentence is uncomfortable. And it's also the turning point. Every real pivot in history started with someone admitting the first plan was wrong. Waiting longer wouldn't have made that sentence hurt less. It would have only made it more expensive. So, how do you actually get better at being wrong? Step 1. Separate the idea from yourself. Say, that idea was wrong, not I'm an idiot. Step 2. Ask, what would change my mind before you argue? If nothing could change your mind, you're not thinking, you're defending. Step 3. Say the words out loud. I was wrong about this. It gets easier every time you practice it. Step 4. Thank the person who corrected you. They just saved you time you would have wasted being wrong longer. Step 5. Write it down. Keep a short list of times you changed your mind and why. Over time, that list becomes proof that you're someone who learns. Try thinking of mistakes as tuition, not failure. You paid the price already, so take the lesson. The only real failure is paying that price twice. Every wrong turn you admit to is a shortcut you just built. Mistakes you actually learn from stop being mistakes. They become tools. Here's something to actually try this week. Pick one belief you've held for years without ever questioning it. Spend 10 minutes actively looking for evidence against it. Not to destroy it, just to test it. If it holds up, you'll trust it more than ever. If it doesn't, you just saved yourself years of building on a bad foundation. Notice the people you respect most. Chances are, they change their minds in public. They say, I used to think that. Here's why I don't anymore. That's not inconsistency. That's a mind that's actually working. Consistency for its own sake just means you stopped learning. Growth and consistency aren't the same thing. Don't confuse them. This shows up closest to home, too, in relationships. I'm sorry, you were right repairs more damage than any grand gesture. Couples who last aren't the ones who never disagree. They're the ones who know how to say, I got that wrong, and mean it. Being right less often together beats being right alone. The hardest person to admit you're wrong to isn't your boss, your partner, or a stranger online. It's yourself, alone, replaying the decision late at night. That's where most people quietly agree to stay stuck. Because no one's watching, so no one's holding you accountable. But that's exactly why it matters the most. The habit of being honest with yourself in private is what makes you honest with everyone else in public. Build that muscle first, and the rest gets easier. So the next time you're wrong, and you will be, don't reach for the excuse. Reach for the compass instead.
Let it spin for a second. That's just your mind catching up. Then let it settle and walk in the new direction. That single motion, spin, then settle, is the whole skill. This isn't about becoming a pushover who agrees with everything anyone says. It's about becoming someone whose mind is built to find the truth, not defend territory. Being wrong isn't the opposite of being smart. Staying wrong is. So don't be afraid of the compass. It's not there to tell you where you failed. It's there to help you see clearly and keep moving. If this helped you see mistakes differently, hit like, share it with someone who hates being wrong, and subscribe for more ideas that actually change how you think.